Doug? I don't want to wake up alone tomorrow.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 saddest TV goodbyes.
So if you think that I didn't say goodbye to you because you don't mean as much to me as everybody else, you're wrong. It's because you mean more to me.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most tear-jerking scenes in which fictional television folks bid adieu to the show and/or other characters, even if only temporarily. We're excluding deaths since those warrant their own list, but important plot points will be discussed, so consider this your spoiler alert. Which of these goodbyes broke your heart? Let us know in the comments. Number 20, Rachel Berry and Finn Hudson, Glee. Although Rachel unfortunately has to grieve Finn's passing in the 5th season, their goodbye during the season 3 finale is also gut-wrenching. One of the season's biggest storylines revolves around the duo's upcoming wedding.
You look...
You do too. You ready to go in there?
Just hold on just a second. I just want to take a second just to remember this.
When Rachel decides to put off studying at her dream performing arts school in New York, he realizes that she can't put her ambitions on hold for him. Plus, he needs to figure his own path out. In other words, the wedding is off, which leads everyone to the train station. The farewell between Rachel, Finn, and the other Glee kids as she heads to the Big Apple is punctuated by a stunning performance of Roots Before Branches.
Roots before branches, to know who I am before I know who I wanna be.
There's definitely a tear in our eye. Number 19, Eric and Red Foreman, That 70s Show. We see Red Foreman as the stern father who rarely shows emotion. We also see him being particularly hard on his son Eric and his friends.
I wish I had 2,000 feet so I could put 500 of them in each of your asses.
But Eric is the glue that holds the group of misfits together. So his decision to leave for Africa is devastating to his friends, family, and viewers alike. While his goodbyes with his friends and mother are emotional, it's the farewell chat between father and son that really leaves a lump in our throats.
I'm gonna miss you, and I love you, and have a good trip.
Wait a second, what did you just say?
Said have a good trip.
Red tells Eric that he'll miss him and that he loves him, and it's clear the latter is touched that he finally gets to hear those words. Number 18, Grogu and Din Djarin, The Mandalorian. Grogu, perhaps better known as Baby Yoda, took the internet by storm when he first made his appearance on The Mandalorian. He falls into the care of Din Djarin, aka Mando's custody, and the two become so close that he essentially grows to be Djarin's son.
That's who you belong with. He's one of your kind. I'll see you again. I promise.
Their deep, often unspoken bond makes their parting as Grogu goes to learn the Force from Luke Skywalker that much sadder. Before Baby Yoda leaves, Mando takes his helmet off, revealing his face in a particularly touching farewell scene.
All right, pal. It's time to go. Don't be afraid.
Luckily, this separation didn't last forever, as we got to see the two reunite in the spin-off series, The Book of Boba Fett. Number 17, Ann Perkins and Leslie Knope, Parks and Recreation. Leslie and Ann's friendship is incredibly fun to watch, so seeing the latter leave Pawnee is as heartbreaking for the former as it is for us. With a baby on the way, Ann and her partner Chris decide to start their family somewhere new. Of course, that means a going-away bash is in order, and Leslie delivers. She and Anne even managed to finally break ground on the project that first introduced them.
Woo! All right, I got my park. That's all I wanted from you. Friendship over.
Don't even joke about that, Anne.
The symbolism of that moment alone is incredibly bittersweet, and watching as Leslie tries to keep it together while her best friend drives off the following morning is downright heartbreaking. But it's okay, because Ron has the remedy we all need.
Come on. There has never been a sadness that can't be cured by breakfast food.
That's fair. Someone else is gonna have to drive, though. My eyes are basically useless right now.
Number 16, Devon Carter and Raven Baxter, That's So Raven. Although this goofy show was mostly known for psychic-induced hijinks, it did have some tear-jerking moments. Raven and Devon's romance was one many fans were rooting for, and we could feel her devastation when she had to say goodbye to him in season 2. Misinterpreting a vision of an engagement ring like only she can, she initially thinks that he's going to pop the question.
Help! What? I know why Devon has been acting weird. He bought me jewelry! What?
She's soon devastated to learn that his dad is tying the knot, which also means the family will be relocating to Seattle. Their goodbye involves them reaffirming their love for one another, but that doesn't make it any easier for us to process.
I'll never forget you.
Will I ever see you again?
I hope so. I love you, Ray.
I love you too, Devon.
Number 15, Johnny Rose, Moira Rose, and the town of Schitt's Creek. Schitt's Creek. When the Roses first arrive in Schitt's Creek, they can't wait to leave. But as the years go by, they find friends who become family and grow immensely as people.
David, look at this place. You won. And on a personal note, I don't want you to leave me here, okay?
Of course, all good things must come to an end. In the end, son David and his husband Patrick decide to move into a house in town, while daughter Alexis plans to go to New York. Meanwhile, parents Johnny and Moira are California bound. The couple end the series by emotionally saying farewell to their kids and loved ones before driving out of town. Johnny bids one final farewell to Schitt's Creek and that unforgettable town sign, making us smile and cry at the same time.
What is it?
Just wanted one last look. Driver, we're ready.
Number 14, Mary Richards and the Staff, The Mary Tyler Moore Show. When this sitcom came to a close in 1977, audience members everywhere were shedding a tear. The Mary Tyler Moore Show was an innovative program centered around a single woman in her 30s trying to make it in the working world. We saw her navigate her career in a way that felt real and relatable throughout the years, which made the finale that much more heartbreaking.
What is a family anyway? They're just people who make you feel less alone and really loved.
Mary, along with most of the other staff members, are let go. Before parting ways, they give each other one long group hug. They don't want it to end, and neither do we. We're not ashamed to admit we were reaching for the tissues right alongside them.
Farewell, Western Square. It's a long, long way to Tipperary, and my heart's right there.
Number 13, Fiona Gallagher and her family, Shameless.
And I'm thinking maybe it's time for me to go.
Go.
Leave. Move someplace else.
Throughout Fiona Gallagher's 9 seasons on Shameless, she experiences big successes and failures. She reaches rock bottom after finding out that her boyfriend has a wife and losing her apartment building. She finally realizes, with the help of her brother Ian, that she needs to leave Chicago.
Go as far away from here as you can, and don't ever look back, okay? I'll always be here for you. Always.
Before she goes, she has a poignant moment with her dad Frank, and leaves her family money to ensure they're taken care of. Even from afar, their love for each other shines through. And seeing how at peace Fiona is on that airplane feels like confirmation that she's making the best choice for herself. It's a bittersweet departure, to say the least. Number 12, Troy Barnes and Abed Nadir, Community. Community wasn't known for its more tender moments, but watching Troy Barnes leave Greendale in season 5 always tugs at our heartstrings. After the gang discovers that Pierce has passed away, Troy inherits a hefty sum of his money, but there's a catch. The recipient must embark on a worldwide sailing trip, so that's what he plans to do.
I think he knew something about me that even I didn't know until now. Because he's offering me something I've been searching for my whole life.
But this means leaving his friends. Seeing him and Abed part ways is particularly difficult, considering how iconic their bromance is.
By the way, when I cloned you, I had to patch some missing parts of your DNA with genes from a homing pigeon. You may notice side effects, like a compulsion to come back.
One mega game of The Floor is Lava, and a final emotionally charged send-off later, Troy departs. It still stings when we think about it. Number 11, Doug Ross and Carol Hathaway, ER. We all fell head over heels for George Clooney's Dr. Doug Ross, so we can't blame Carol for being devastated when he leaves for the West Coast in season 5. These two face a lot of ups and downs as a couple, and this goodbye really seems like the end.
There's nothing for me here.
I'm here.
I mean work. I can't stay here.
Not even for me?
Doug abruptly leaves, leaving Carol and us shattered. Soon after, she realizes that she's pregnant with his babies, and initially attempts to raise them by herself. It goes without saying, but we were thrilled when this adorable, slightly dysfunctional couple decided to give it a go as a family in Seattle.
Where are the girls?
They're with my mom.
It's like nothing I have ever known.
It's beautiful here.
Number 10, Jax and Abel Teller, Sons of Anarchy. During the season 6 finale of Sons of Anarchy, everything seems to unravel for the club. The moment of calm among the storm, and the one that leaves us in sorrow, is when Jax says goodbye.
Every first taste for you, just to make it all right, just to make it all right.
He resolves to turn himself in, but not before parting with his crew and young sons, Abel and Thomas. The latter is too young to realize what's going on, but the former knows his dad is leaving. The scene is set to a sentimental soundtrack, and you can actually see the emotions in all of the characters' faces.
Love you, brother.
You'll be okay, brother.
I'll just run away.
Love you, my brother.
It marks a turning point for the series as a whole, Jax, and everyone watching at home. Number 9, Elena Gilbert and Damon Salvatore, The Vampire Diaries. Many fans were cheering when Damon and Elena finally got together, which made their goodbye all the more gut-wrenching. She's in a prolonged sleep for her and her best friend Bonnie's safety, but luckily she still gets to say goodbyes to her loved ones in her mind.
Thank you for bumping into me that day in the hallway. I never thought I would ever be happy again, and then I met you. You changed everything for me, and you quite literally saved my life.
Each interaction is deeply moving, and it all culminates in a powerful moment with her true love. There's not a dry eye in the house as we watch this fan-favorite couple spend a few final moments together. They dance and express their feelings, and it's all tragically beautiful.
Selfish Damon Salvatore would give up the love of his life to save her best friend.
I knew that the love of my life would stand by his best friend, even if it meant having to live without me for a little while.
Knowing that this will be the last time they see each other for decades further amplifies the stakes, and we can feel the sheer emotion through the screen. Number 8, Christina Yang and Meredith Grey, Grey's Anatomy. This long-running medical drama is no stranger to intense goodbyes, as many characters have come and gone throughout the seasons.
It's okay. You go.
And while we were weeping when Meredith said goodbye to Derek, the hardest farewell to watch was between her and her best friend Christina. As the time comes for Christina to leave Seattle Grace, she shares some final words of wisdom with Meredith, instructing her to look out for the others and herself.
You are a gifted surgeon with an extraordinary mind. Don't let what he wants eclipse what you need. He's very dreamy, but he is not the sun. You are.
Of course, they also have a goodbye dance session together. While we were gutted to see her go, we know she's living her best life in Zurich. Number 7, Rachel Green and the Friends. Friends. The final season of Friends ushers in many changes for the group members. One of the biggest is Rachel announcing that she would be taking a job in Paris. While the series finale is undoubtedly a tearjerker, the penultimate episode in which we see her going away party leaves us with the heaviest of hearts.
And I'm so sad that you're leaving.
Oh, you know what? Let's not say anything else. I love you.
She has emotional parting talks with Monica, Chandler, Phoebe, and Joey, and each goodbye is more devastating than the last. She also saves an extra special and extra stirring goodbye for Ross.
I can't even begin to explain to you how much I am gonna miss you. When I think about not seeing you every day, it makes me not want to go.
Thankfully, Rachel ultimately stays in New York, turning our sad tears into happy ones. Number 6. Dorothy Zbornak and the Golden Girls. The Golden Girls. There's nothing like a group hug in a series finale to kickstart the waterworks, and we get quite a few in this one. This iconic sitcom came to a close after 7 seasons as Dorothy decided to get hitched and move out of the Golden Girl dwelling.
I forget that there are people who are warm and loving and...
We love you too.
I'll miss you.
In the last scene, we tearfully watch as she, Sophia, Blanche, and Rose say their final farewell in their home. It takes the bride a few tries to finally leave for good, but when she does, we're left feeling melancholic.
You're angels. All of you.
It's a new chapter for the women, to be sure, but it's also the end of an era, and what an era it was. Number 5. Mona and Homer Simpson, The Simpsons. Even an animated comedy can find ways to unexpectedly touch your heart, and we can't help but feel heavy-hearted when Homer says goodbye to his mother Mona. It takes 7 seasons for us to finally get introduced to her outside of a flashback.
Hey, wait a minute. Mom?
Homer?
I thought you were dead!
And as beautiful as it is to see her and her son reunite, it's just as difficult watching their farewell. You see, she's wanted by law enforcement, so she can't stay in Springfield. Watching Homer struggle with her departure is nothing short of heartbreaking.
Remember, whatever happens, you have a mother, and she's truly proud of you.
And it's only made worse by the fact that a few seasons later, he has to say goodbye to her for good. Number 4. Diane Chambers and Sam Malone, Cheers. Sam and Diane were the original will they or won't they couple.
Maybe this is my lucky day, huh?
You disgust me. I hate you.
Are you as turned on as I am?
More.
At the end of the 5th season, the two are finally going to tie the knot, until Diane gets a big break in her writing career. Their parting is impactful enough to make even the biggest cynic shed a tear. It's clear that Sam knows this is the end for them, despite the love they share. Meanwhile, she's convinced it's temporary and that she'll be back in just a few months.
I'll be back here. I will. I'll see you in 6 months. Okay?
Okay.
Of course, fans of the show know that they don't see each other again until years later. While they almost make it work in the series finale, this goodbye cements the fact that they were always headed down different paths. Number 3. 10th Doctor and his companions, Doctor Who. We see the 10th Doctor and his companions go through many adventures, and sadly, in this 2-parter, we see the last of him. After a victory against the Master, he gets exposed to a fatal amount of radiation and accepts his fate. He shares melancholic goodbyes with his companions before he regenerates, becoming the 11th Doctor. Audiences were devastated to say goodbye to the 10th Doctor, as he was widely considered to be one of the best versions of the character. Of course, we were also devastated when he shared a goodbye with Rose earlier in the show.
Just about to close. And it takes a lot of power to send this projection. I'm in orbit around a supernova. I'm burning up a sun just to say goodbye.
But this moment takes the cake.
I don't want to go.
Number 2. Michael Scott and the Dunder Mifflin staff, The Office. This show normally had viewers everywhere in stitches. But one of the most heartbreaking moments was when Michael decided to leave Dunder Mifflin and Scranton to be with Holly.
9,986,000 minutes. That's how many minutes that you've worked here.
He misleads the staff to believe that he's leaving the next day in hopes that he'll keep it together during his departure. But Jim figures it out anyway. The duo share an extremely heartfelt final conversation, expressing their love and appreciation for each other.
I can tell you what a great boss you turned out to be. Best boss I ever had.
We were already crying at this point, so Pam saying her last goodbye to him at the airport completely wrecked us. We can't hear what they're saying, but it doesn't even matter. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Butterfree and Ash Ketchum, Pokemon. Ash touchingly lets the first Pokemon he ever caught go.
Take care, Butterfree! Good luck!
J.D. Dorian and Perry Cox, Scrubs, a moving sight that won't leave anyone indifferent.
He's a damn exceptional person. That's why people gravitated to him. That's why I did. He was my friend.
Carly Shay and her loved ones, iCarly. Before leaving for Italy with her father, she shares meaningful goodbyes with Spencer, Sam, and Freddie.
I love you guys.
Love you too.
Love you too, kid.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. All the characters. MASH. To put it simply, this episode pulled on our heartstrings non-stop. The tragic instance in which we had to say goodbye to Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake was devastating, to be sure.
Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake's plane was shot down over the Sea of Japan.
But the show's final farewell is unbeatable. Viewers watched as the characters had their final moments with each other and the Korean War. There wasn't a dry eye in the world when we saw goodbye spelled out from the helicopter. Even though this episode first aired decades ago, it remains one of the most well-known and talked about finales ever.
I miss you. I'll miss you. A lot. I can't imagine what this place would have been like if I hadn't found you here.
It just goes to show how incredibly impactful this farewell really was. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.